now that we've been talking about research a little bit, we need to slip in a little bit about ethics. Clearly, all research is grounded in ethics, right? It's grounded in better. Well, all research in psychology should be guided by the ethical principles of psychologists and the code of conduct of the APA. It's a very detailed document, which, by the way, these ethical codes are used by many disciplines outside of psychology to guide their research as well. But the overarching ideas here is that helping others while doing no harm is what research is supposed to be about. Establishing based on trust, okay? There should be a high level of integrity when it comes to ethics, whether it be in practice or in the research. We should be fair and just. And sometimes, say, for example, what happens is that, well, like with medical drug studies, what often happens is people volunteer to test these new drugs, and it tends to be poor people that volunteer. And then when these drugs get approved to go on the market, then all of a sudden they're so overly priced that poor people can't use them. Okay, and so that's not fair. All right, that's not right. You're going to literally exploit the poor people for the benefit of the rich. Okay, and then the last basic large-scale idea is that you respect the rights and dignity of people. It doesn't matter who they are. I mean, even if somebody is a prisoner or something like that, they're still a human being and therefore deserve basic dignity and respect. Okay? The APA, when it comes to ethics, has basically just laid out some guidance, that's for sure. And there's a lot of things. Number one, that all research must go through a formal approval process from the supporting institution, whether that institution be the university or the corporation themselves, okay? And it's called an IRB, an Institutional Review Board. And so questions of ethical issues are not necessarily addressed by the individual researcher, but by an approval body that is above them, okay? Second thing on there that is a huge part is informed consent, and that is when people participate in research, participation needs to be voluntary, 100% voluntary. And so you need to give people every piece of information that would possibly influence their decision to join your research study. So they are informed before they give their consent, okay? Data that is gathered is confidential, period. Cannot be used in names, cannot be traced and placed on it at all. Okay? We should avoid deception whenever possible. And again, if you're going to use deception, it's not up to you, the individual researcher, to make that decision, but the IRB will decide whether or not it is ethically sound practice. Okay? And there's clearly, I don't necessarily know of any research in IO psychology with animals, but maybe there's a chicken study, maybe. Okay, so clearly there are very clear set of guidelines. In addition to the research side, the ethics, the APA Code of Ethics applies to many other areas, such as roles that an IO psychologist might play in an advisory sense, or in the way that they monitor a business or corporation. Clearly, any time that there's the IO psychologists are involved in an educational setting or training setting, but also, as we say, organizational model, etc. So clearly, this idea of ethics needs to pervade the entire discipline, not just in the research field. Though the APA Code of Ethics is clearly written for research, it is much broader than that and should pervade all aspects of daily life.